Rotary Club and happy birthday. Before we get started, I'm going to point out that it's a relatively lame turnout on Hawaii. Where we expect a better presentation at Patty's house this evening. Okay, so, President Bowie, come on up. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First.
Is it the truth? Okay, where am I going?
Welcome, sir. Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will be beneficial to all concerned.
He wasn't that started.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jody. An old timer like you can forget the rank which should be more comfortable. Okay, inspiration, probably great.
Well, my inspiration is about peace, and I have several people's statements, which I found kind of interesting. Peace cannot be kept by force, it can only be achieved by understanding, Albert Einstein. World peace begins with inner peace, the 14th Dalai Lama. Martin Luther King is this one. True peace is not merely the absence of tension, it is the presence of justice. And then you can't separate peace from freedom because no one can be at peace unless he has his freedom, not less.
Thank you.
Do you have any visiting Rotarians today? Hyla Lipson is visiting Rotarian. She's also our guest speaker. Say hi to Hyla. Any other guests?
Soon to be member. Hi, everybody.
Hi, welcome aboard. Yes, you were both joining my club. Thank you for being here. Next. Announcements. Let's have people line up over here. But meanwhile, I'm going to have my own announcement. If Jim and Jolene would come up here, we have some Paul Harris awards. We have Dan and Paul Harris +7, and Jolene and Paul Harris +3. That means they each made an original $1,000 donation, and now they're that many more. And we're gonna let Jim's also agreed to serve as our foundation rep and taking place at Perk Ground, and so he'll do kind of quarterly updates. I'll just read this word because I thought it was cool. The Rotary Foundation is able to carry out an array of programs that achieve beneficial changes in our world, improve living conditions, increase food production in impoverished countries, better education, especially for women and girls, and wider availability of treatment and rehab to the sick and disabled. So let's say thank you to them and ask them to say a couple of words.
Ladies first.
My pin's pretty because it has blue stones on it.
My pen's pretty because it has the red stones. First, I want to say it's an honor to be chosen as the foundation chair here. You're going to be hearing from me periodically. It also has to do with me talking about polio. Unfortunately, in 24, from January 1st to August 29th, there's 356 cases of polio reported right now in the world. There's 69 in Afghanistan and 287 in Pakistan. And unfortunately, I heard yesterday that there's one case reported in Gaza. So we still, it's up for the first time in 4 years. And so we still got a lot of work to do. As far as foundation, anybody that like to talk about foundation with me, I'd be happy to do it. But our goals as a district, District 5110, and as a club, is to have every Rotarian every year participate by contributing at least $25 to the Rotary Foundation. And if people are interested in Paul Harris and being part of that, that's a commitment of $1,000 a year. So we'll discuss that more in the future. Thank you.
You.
Lisa Hicken, do you want to come up? Very happy to advise that we have graduated another from red badge to blue badge, and here's our Lisa Hicken. Hello. Thank you. It was fun doing all the things I got to do and I did that. And I was surprised how excited I was. Very good. You heard that. It's really fun to get your blue badge. So get on it, you guys. Okay, announcements.
I'm just gonna keep it short, but I had a lot of people ask me about last night's emergency meeting with city council and what happened with that meeting. We had a meeting because of course, thing that I'm happy about, we are moving the homeless out of the parks. And we are trying to get the parks back to people, because that's something we've done over and over and over again. In the meantime, we have 2 sites right now, both of them are somewhat temporary, but there's some other ones that we're looking at long term. But last night we did vote to let them stay in a location for a week, so they can stay longer, so they don't have to be moved as often. We also, I got a sense that there were a lot of people who were willing to volunteer to try to get shade down. We're working with Mint and with UCAN. UCAN has agreed to get the water to them right away. Eventually, we may be able to put water, because we do it anyway, out of the water treatment plant, which is where the largest amount of people are right now. But if we get shade, and I made the remark last night, and I shouldn't have made it about, I know there's a lot of people volunteering and willing to bring in, but they told me quickly that you can't just pop up those ones because they fly and they become missiles. So, the fire, chief is gonna monitor, but there was a, I don't know, he's a contractor who's worked in the community for a long time. He said he had would be willing to have volunteers come and help him. So my suggestion to you, if you really want to help, is to kind of step up and see what Mint needs. Stop by Mint, stop, because that's what we're trying to do, is we're really trying to support the nonprofits to come in and do their services and do get things happening, so that we don't have a liability as a city, but they're willing and able. So this is a great time to go and ask Mint. Like, yeah, I would go by Parker House. And the reason I say that is people want to go down to the broker, they want to go down to the site, but that was a real problem we're having too, is because the people, the trucking business next door is having all sorts of cars come in, and it's just a nightmare for them. So go to the Mint Parker House. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure Valerie will chat with you afterwards. Come on, next and then.
Hi, everyone. I am actually Brenda Patton, so pretend that you're Brenda Patton, because this message is, announcement is, for her, because she's gonna be here today. So, last week she made an announcement about a workshop that she wants to do with the angels. And, she said there was a number of people who were interested, but, so there's a yellow pad on the pool table. If you're interested in, you want to attend this workshop, which focuses on, our.
Polarization within.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Polarization.
Yes, you can talk to Jim, you can tell you more about it. I don't have any information in terms of when this will be, or, date or time, but she just needs to first see how many people are interested, so the cat is on the back table.
There's lots of cards left, and Jan is taking the money.
50-50 draw.
Of course, you can go back to start up again at Rare's Pass Dams, and if anybody would like free day passes, please let me know.
Did someone want to make an announcement about tonight's social?
Oh, you win.
I went.
Oh, man, I didn't take the black, but left grass hurt home.
All right, I'm Debbie, and I'm here to remind you that tonight is the night to get on your leg, get a grass skirt, is a pair of coconuts, stacked there, and you know what, so take them home, you can wear them tonight. We are going to be at Patty Hampson's house, thank you to Patty and Deb for hosting us. I hear that she makes me my time, so. And she has misters. And probably some missuses too. Sorry, that's, it was,
You were just playing right
you
there.
threw it up, I had to get it. Anyways, at 5:30, we are going to be, treated again to Fireside.
Catering.
Catering company, and y'all come, you can, drink festive, eat festive. We'll have some lays there for, in case Lucy you want to get like, we'll have some lays.
All right, thank you.
Sorry, that was.
That was also there.
Sorry, Hyla, that's just how we roll over here. Okay,
I knew
Steve.
that was coming.
Steve, you want to come introduce our guest speakers today? Thank you.
Well, our guest speaker really, I don't think requires much introduction. Many people call over from our many community activities, whether it's Rotary. But first, I want to make a confession about last night's newsletter. I will say I got an email or a text from Sally Snyder, and she was pretty impressed that Hyla, partner, it was partner of 38 years, well, his partner was 38 years old. I'm using a new program called Grammarly, which helps grammar, but it's kind of like autocorrect. It doesn't
Yeah.
do issues every once in a while. Yeah, so it's kind of like this week when I went to visit my mom at Countryside. We were walking back from the hallway after visiting here for dinner, and this resident came to Christy and I and said, "Oh, are you the new couple residents that just moved in?" No, not quite yet. But Hyla, anyway, I've known her for a number of years, worked with her, Ford Family Foundation, the Oregon Community Foundation, let's see, Rotary, the Harvard, just many.
Company's coming.
I think the community.
Company's coming, okay?
Friend. But one of the things she wants to talk about today is the
Yeah,
Grand
but
Path Community Park, which she's executive director and have been for many years, and it's really provides a very good community outlet for the artists and talk about that. Here's Hyla. Thank you.
Okay, and just aim it at the laptop.
You're taller than I am. Everyone's taller than I am. The grocery store, I have to stand in the aisle sometimes and wait for somebody to get off the top shelf. Yeah, it's bad. So, so Judy asked me to say a couple words about myself before I launched into the actual museum talk. So, is it advancing just because?
I think it advanced because I clicked on it.
Oh.
Sorry.
So, this is me. And I'm just so cute. I mean, you know, you have to show off when you're really cute, because I'm not cute anymore. But I had naturally feeling I was born in Denver, I'm adopted. I was 3 weeks old when my parents took me in. And I was adorable, as you can see. When I was about 3.5 or 4, a neighbor friend of mine and I climbed a tree in my backyard, and she had scissors. And she decided to play beauty shop and she cut off all my curls. So when my mother came out to check on us, she looked down and all my curls were at the bottom of the tree and she was sobbing. So I didn't have to this. Oh,
Amy,
this one?
Yep.
Yeah,
The down button.
I did.
No. I tested it. I thought it was working.
Maybe we can signal to.
Yeah, I can advance for you.
You can advance, okay. So I'll just click it.
Yeah. Take it.
Yes, I thought this was kind of amusing. In 2007, at my club, Baker was the president, and I introduced Medora and Purvis, who was really, really instrumental in all the things that have to do with the museum. She's kind of the goddess of art and Grants Pass. And so I thought it was kind of amusing that in 2007, here I am, presenting. Okay. So what the heck does a museum do? Our function primarily is to collect, protect, exhibit, teach,
and lately to entertainment. When I was, with fiber optic lighting, I used to do a lot of trade shows, and I belonged to the Museum Association. And at that time, in the eighties-ish, late eighties, they were saying, aren't we enough? I mean, we show, we teach, we do all these things. And now they're wanting hands-on experience and they want more fun. So then they started going to the International Amusement Park show. And I would see them there, and they would do interpretive displays and have all kinds of fun activities in the museum. So just like in our club, at the end of the final test, we say, will it be fun? Kind of in the museum, you say, will it be fun? So we try to create activities for the families and people who attend that are fun. So we started actually above where Lisbon Pier is on 6th Street. That was just a brief period of time. Charlottesville started the museum 45 years ago. We're 45 years old. And it was called Gallery One in those days. And then it was renamed as the Grants Pass Museum of Art, and it was chartered and became a nonprofit. And then the city said, hey, we have this building in Riverside Park. It's kind of derelict, but if you want to take it over, we'll give it to you for $1 a year. And so the community really rose up, gave money to it, gave a lot of volunteer hours, treated it into a 2-gallery situation. I remember taking my kids there to have classes. It was really a fun place. And then in 1996, I'm going to tell you a story that not too many people know. Bob, who used to own a bookstore, he had a store down in that building on G Street. And the other building down on the downside was a pizza parlor. Upstairs was residence. And so there was somebody who came along from another country, I think it was Iran or Iraq or something, and bought a lot of buildings throughout Oregon and paid cash for that building. So at one point, Bob was sort of the manager of the building, and there was a big storm, and the roof started having a problem. And so Bob called the owner and said, we gotta fix the roof. And so the owner said, fine, hire a roofer. So he did, and the roofer gave him a quote and said, fine, go ahead. Hey, down payment number 1, down payment number 2. When it came to payment number 3, the owner was gone. His phone was disconnected. There was nobody at the place that he was living. They couldn't pay the roofer because they couldn't find him, and they were turned out he was in jail. They were running a pot ring, and the pizza parlor was the conduit. This was way before, obviously, pot was legal. So the building went up on the auction block, and Bob bid on it, but so did Ron Fields. And Ron eventually won, and he created a living situation for himself and his family upstairs. And so the building upstairs had all kinds of accoutrements that belonged to a private residence. But then he put it up for sale, and the city was going to have a community center in the park. And they said, hey, museum, why don't you come join us? You can raise some money, and we'll build this building, and then you can have a museum in a community center. So we thought that was a great idea. Lots of people again rose up, got lots of money, all ready to sign the deal. But at the same time, the NEA had granted money to 2 artists. One was Serrano and one was Maplethorpe. Both of those artists did very controversial things, and I would never accept Bernie Anderson to know about this, but the religious right got a hold of it, and over 40,000 letters went to the Congress and the NEA about the bad things of giving money to people who were doing that art. And that art that Bernie was referring to was a crucifix that was put in a jar of urine. So he said, we're not going to do that in Grants Pass, so we need to be able to decide exactly what goes in the museum. Yeah. Everybody rose up in arms, and the doorman, Curtis, who you saw in the picture, went really crazy about the museum. You involved in it, I think there was even an article in the Wall Street Journal. And I might say we backed out, and we said, no, we're not going to do that. But we had all this money, and the building on G Street was for sale, and we said, okay, we'll buy it. In the meantime, you can see, we had to shore it up for your place. So basically, it kind of took apart the building and put it back together with rebar, and you can see, I can show you if you come in where the metal braces are for the building, but it was kind of naked for a little while. Okay. So here we are. Currently, we're on the top floor, and on the bottom floor. Got it. And on the bottom floor, we rent out a space to Shoe Fly, which is a fabulous shoe store. And then we have Gallery One downstairs, which represents over 60 local artists, and they have everything from paintings to baskets to cards to jewelry to you name it. Tommy's in the gallery, which is really kind of fun. Okay. I made some changes since I got there. I was hired 8 years ago. I was only supposed to be there for a little while, but then I'm 8 years now and I'm not leaving. They're going to take me out to eat for a second. So, we had a kitchen because it was a private residence. And I said, I think we need a community gallery. Let's take the kitchen out. So now we have a wonderful community gallery. And sometimes it's part of the overall exhibit of the museum, but other times you can pivot. You've had artists in residence from the road, resident branch. You'll see other things because I have them in the picture. Yeah. So we also put a portal in between the museum and Gallery One because everybody would say when they live in the gallery, where's the museum? We can't find the museum. And they'd be standing right in front of the museum door downstairs and I'd say, go through that door. Well, then what? And if I had a nickel for every time somebody said they couldn't find the museum, I wouldn't have had to ask for the grants to put the portal in. Okay. So exhibits are really what we do, and that's our main forte. So here you can see we were unloading a truck with a 200-pound 6-foot boat. It was a taxidermy, it was our last exhibit. The artist was from Montana. She had all kinds of wonderful faux taxidermy throughout the museum. And you can see other artists bringing their work in. The one at the lower left is a sculpt artist, and her signature was a spider. So in all of her different pieces of art, she had little spiders. So we have scavenger hunt for people to find the spiders. That was the fun part. We had a climate change exhibit, and we had 2 artists that really talked about what was happening to our world. Okay. This was another fabulous exhibit we had, and you can see the truck that had all the crates that all this came in. It was called Reclaimed Creations, and it was by an artist who lives in Louisiana, but she had Shinto beliefs, and so she said, if you throw something away before it's time, it will weep in the trash bin. So she took all the plastic things that you would have in your kitchen, and she created life-size models of animals in motion. We darkened the museum, we covered the windows with black curtains, and we lit it theatrically. And these animals are all life-size. And you can see in the lower right, we had polar bear and her cub, and they were swimming in water. We had a gogo light that was kind of a water effect. So that was really fun for kids and adults, and we had lots and lots of comments about it. Okay. I think you know who he is. He's looking at the quilting exhibit. And we have for exhibits from an organization called SACA, which is Studio Art Quilt Association. And in 2026, we're going to have a fabulous exhibit coming that's going to knock the shoppers off. It's 3-dimensional, so not all quilts anymore hang on the wall. Some of them are going to sit on pedestals. And then on the right, we have the membership show. I hope you notice what the red head ladies are wearing and looking at. Just saying. Okay. We have field trips, so we invite all the 5th graders in Josephine County to come to the museum. They come in classes. So this year we saw 10 different schools and we had over 500 kids. And one of the things we do at the end of the field trip is that we give everybody an art bag. So most of these kids don't have any art supplies. So some of you have actually participated in our backpacking. And I want you to know that we line up 2 rows of people, and each person has a product and they throw it in the bag. With 22 people, it takes 36 minutes to fill 600 bags. And you can see where it was, they're stored in my office. I had some shelves filled, and I can hold 600 bags in those shelves. And you can see what's in the bags. I get it from Ticonderoga, Dixon, and they're really high quality art supplies. It includes a 100-page sketchbook, so the kids are beyond happy. And what's really fun is part of the supply is a pencil sharpener. And when I show them what's going to go in the bags, so they don't have to run through their bags. And when I hold up the pencil sharpener, I get shears. So I'm going, what the heck is that about? So I asked the little boy once, why are you so excited about this pencil sharpener? He said, I never had one of my own, and I always had to share.
Aww.
Isn't it the best? Okay. So we have lots of activities for young people. On the left is a recent class we had, and the teacher, it was a drawing class, so it was the principles of art. But the teacher had them go around and pick out what their favorite thing was. And the person who's speaking is, Tom Brownell's little girl. And it was really fun to hear 8-year-olds talk about art and what they thought was meaningful in the art, which is great. So this was in our community gallery. And then you can see some of the products that the kids, and the kids are fabulous. And we have, all summer, we have classes on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and all different things we do. We also have classes for grown-ups and all kinds of things. Some of them are how to draw. We have a class coming up on how to paint like Matisse. We have two, somebody asked me if you ever do art therapy. We have two classes coming up that are kind of that. One of them is the potter's bowl, and it's an old technique of you break a bowl, which is symbolic of your life falling apart, and you put it back together, and you fill the seed where it's being put together with gold, not real gold. Did you know that gold was $2,500 an ounce right now?
Yeah.
I looked at it this morning because I didn't believe it, and while I was watching it, it kept going up.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyway, the other class, Eddie the Duke is going to teach a class on self-portraits. But it's not what you look like, it's who you are. So I highly recommend that you look into those because it can be fun, they're thoughtful, and it might change how you look at yourself in life. You never know. Okay. We have films on Sunday afternoon. We call it Sunday afternoon in the Museum of Arts. We have it once a quarter, and they're amazing. They're made in Europe, and the reason they're called exhibitions on screen is that they cover an exhibit, and they talk about it. So the last one we had was talking about the one coming up on August 27th, and Monday, October 27th, it's Moon, Edward Moon. So we thought that was good for the Halloween because he did the screen. Okay. And we have the International Animation Film Festival. Gianna Morris is a famous animator that lives here in town, and so she started it last year. We're going to do it again this year. Last year, I ordered candy from a company in New York that came from all around the world because I thought, if the animation's coming from all around the world, we should have candy to eat from all around the world. We have artist demonstrations, different artists will come, and this was, sure it was. Never mind, sometimes I just use words, but anyway, this was one of the artists that was doing a demonstration, who actually painted a whole painting while we watched from a photograph. It was fascinating, really very exciting. Okay. This is a book fair. There's an organization in town called Authors Innovation Marketing, and they like to show off their books. So it's kind of a trade show of authors. They've outgrown the museum, so next year when they have their fairs, it's gonna have to be someplace else. But it was really fun to meet everybody and see what people are doing. This is a very talented group of people. Okay. And we have book signings. This is Jennifer Roberts. And I have to say, I would never have bought her book because it's about a witch hunt in the story. But I did because she's a friend. And I'm telling you, I'm chapter 15 and I'm read it. I'm listening to it in my car. So I had to come here to get this book. And it's really, really cool. Sometimes we have panels. This panel was about nurses who are retired, but they also are artists and how art has impacted the different nurses. And so we had a lot of people from the Santa that came. We had an exhibit in the community gallery of nurses art, so that was quite interesting. I love collaborating with other organizations, so this one had to do with the Santa. Oh, and then there's you. Couple times you've had the Super Bowl party in the museum, and we love it. And I had to show the treats that were in 2023. I don't know who made those, but aren't those awesome? We always bring it potluck. So then we had the changing of the presidents, and we honored Jim and Judy. And I think that was when Judy got her magic wand. Yes. And that was kind of the introduction of the Riverside Cake, or the Fireside, whatever that catering company is. Yeah, really great. Okay. We had an all-care meet and greet for the new CEO, Max. And they were so excited. They said, you know, we're going to have interviews with the doctors here because having a museum in a small town is a big deal. It's like having a library in a small town. So they were really impressed with the ambiance and what was going on. And then the Foreign Community Foundation had a huge meeting of nonprofits, and they were telling what they do and all the different things that happen. So that was fun. The Rotary Symphony collaborates with us, and for every concert that they have, right before the concerts, they have a conversation with Martin or somebody in the symphony, and this particular one was last year. And Martin brought all the head musicians from the different, the different areas, like the head violinist, the main cello player, the percussionist. And there's about 50 people that come to this, talk, and it's invitation that is kind of open to the public, and it's really fun. We've got them scheduled all the way through next year for this next group of, symphonies. Yeah, concerts. The concerts, it's like a home concert, but it's a little bigger venue, and these are artists from all around the world. They're independent, they don't want to play in a bar, they want to have a dedicated audience, so people are really listening to them. And they are fabulous. So the next one is coming up in September, it's a gentleman from Nashville, and he's supposed to be really good, he's introducing his new CD, and part of it has Lyle Lovett on it, so he's a big deal. If you go back one, I just want to show you that Ruth and Tumble had their dog on stage with them. Yeah, she's in the background. There you go. And then the next is First Friday on G Street. You never know what's going to happen on First Friday. And we had a beekeeper, that's Mountain Blossom Honey, and that beehive actually had the queen in it. You could find her. So the kind of activities that bring people downtown. Okay. Halloween, we had the witches dancing, and we had the most adorable children you've ever seen. So, okay. In the community gallery, last year we celebrated for the first time on Day of the Dead. One of the reasons I got money for the community gallery was to say we wanted diversity. And so this is the first example of reaching out to a different community that really we didn't interact with. And we had, the whole room was decorated for the event. We had tables where kids could design a mask or other things. Next. We had a memory portrait wall, and you can see some of the kids drew memories of their favorite dog. And then we had an ofrenda, which is an altar where we put things that are for people that you care about. And that's a traditional guard during the holiday. Next. This was more of the memory portraits. We're going to do that again this year. And the next one is showing the ballet folklorica on First Friday, and the families were gathering to make the masks. So next. We had a Lego exhibit in the community gallery, and it was really fun because kids never scavenger hunt, but we also had Lego Day where families would come in and had to build a challenge. I had to build an automobile and an animal in a building. So that was because Missy King was here. Unfortunately, she's gone. We can't do that again, but it was just a fun event. Okay. This was something that was in conjunction with the Oregon Remembrance Project. It had to do with Martin Luther King, and it was creating tiles that depicted ordinary to extraordinary. And we had a table again with all kinds of supplies that people could make the tiles. Yes. And here's some of them. I mean, they talked about things like the friends that were apart. One of them was about the museum. Obviously Mayor Bristol, but the two in the bottom I love. There was a little ego. So, everybody's lucky to have me. And then the other one is I knit to keep people warm. So, okay. We had a pollinator project, and we taught people about the importance of pollinators, and we allowed the kids to make their own pollinator garden on a paper plate. And what we discovered is the children love compost. Okay. Black, White, and Blues was one of our fundraisers. When you have a nonprofit, you have to have fundraisers. And Tommy actually started Black, White, and Blues. How many years ago? Okay, a long time ago. The last one we had was 2020, and then we had to stop due to the pandemic. We may bring something like it back, but it was a dance and an auction and a whole bunch of fun. The artists who were actually doing art while you were at the event, we had Bob Edding and Judy Davidson and Karen O'Brien. And it was fun to watch them, and at the end they sold them. Yeah. This is Art in the Garden, and it happens every year. We choose 8 to 10 gardens that people go see. And we put art in the garden, and it's a great time to get outside and just do something fun. And you probably recognize the art at the lower left.
Familiar.
Okay. And then we had Let Us Entertain You. It was a variety show, and you'll notice the MCs. If you didn't go, there they are. We couldn't do it this year, it's just not enough time, but we're gonna do it again next year. And instead of calling it Medicine Entertaining, which is too many words to say in one breath, we're calling it the Louie Louie Show, which is beginning letters of each of those words. So next September, save the date, because I think we're gonna have the same mistresses of ceremony, and it's gonna be a fun variety show. Okay, and there you go. Thank you.
Wow. Let's take some questions.
Oh, do you have any questions?
Yes. Let's take the mic. Let me take the mic to her. One second. Thank you. Yeah. The Zoom can't hear.
Do you happen to have a website that has a list of all the upcoming things?
Yeah, so on your table. Here, I can move.
On your table is a brochure that shows all the exhibits and all the concerts. But the website is gpmuseum.com, and it lists all the workshops and everything else that we're doing. And this is a website, and it's usually pretty up to date, so yeah, go there. Oh, we have lots of opportunities for volunteers and even board members. So if something about this resonates with you, talk to me.
Thanks of all these wonderful projects and for all of the things that go on in the museum. Is it you?
We do have an exhibition department who creates ideas for the exhibits. We did an offering on Cafe, which is an international offering for artists. 181 submissions, and we're still working our way through it. We'll book through 2026 and into 2027. So, you know, when you're doing something like this, you have to plan to think ahead. We have next year, we have a fabulous exhibit coming in called Headgear of the World. There's going to be 85 different pieces of headgear from 23 countries. So that's going to be awesome. And then next year we have the biennial, which is a good thing. And then we have this floating 3-dimensional thing. So, and there's always fabulous things going on. Then we have, you know, people pop up with an idea. Or if somebody comes to me, like the Road River Ranch said, we have our, next year the caves are combining with us at kids. So, oh, good. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you so much. You know, I'm a big art fan, and Hyla knows that I'm her biggest fan. I presume that, or hope that you all know what an extraordinary array of activities happen in there and how creative and genius, inclusive you are. I'm just thrilled, and I hope all of you will join. The membership fee is only $40 a year, I think. It helps them tremendously, and if you have time to volunteer, go volunteer. I've been up when we did the backpack things, and it was actually fun. We know about backpacks, and yeah, I just can't say enough good things about what you're doing, especially for a town our size, to have all these opportunities. So I've got to remember every time I see something advertised, go in, go in. Okay. Sergeant Sterling, come on up.
Just move a slide for me. This is gonna fit. Okay, Jim and I took a culinary, took a winter culinary, trip in Greenland. We just did one day. So that's like a really culinary, or Jolene's search for food I haven't eaten. I'm always an adventurous person when it comes to food, but there are certain things I want to eat. The chicken, the egg that they bury in the ground for 3 years. No, I'm not going there. So this is one of the towns we went to in Greenland. Can anybody except for Jim pronounce it?
No.
Refuse.
Three Qs. Kukakak is how it's pronounced. And everywhere we went, it was raining. You couldn't get out of the rain. And, some things are grown almost anywhere. Next one. And potatoes are one of them. They love potatoes. They have potatoes for every meal. And they eat a lot of meat, reindeer, muskox, seafood, lamb. And this is one we have, this is a very slow roasted lamb, they crusted it with some herbs and everything, and it literally falls off the bone. It was so good. And so then they also take lamb, grind it up, and then they, slow roast it, and then they take it out, roll it in some sort of a bread crummy thing, and deep fry it. Then what they do with that is they top it with diced onions and with angelica. This is angelica. It's a genus of about 90 species of tall biennial and perennial herbs, native to temperate and subarctic regions of the northern hemisphere, reaching as far north as Iceland, Lapland, and Greenland. They grow 1 to 3 meters tall with large bipinnate leaves and large compound umbels of white or greenish white flowers. Now in this plant, it's a high source of vitamin B12, a high source of vitamin D, and it's also a high source of vitamin C. Since you can't grow citrus fruit, this is what they eat to get their citrus. And it grows all over the place. And you walk along and you see it all over the place. The other thing we ate is this. This is dried seal. And I ate a small bite, and what the stuff that we were served was kind of flat, more like a jerky. It's got a very strong and intense flavor. I mean, it was so strong, I almost spit it out, but I did manage to chew it and swallow it, so I did do that. Now, whales are very popular. You see these whales in Greenland. From left to right, you have the bowhead whale, then you have these narwhals with the long pointing corkscrew, whatever stuff. And then you have the cute little beluga whale, and they do eat all three of these. And so the next thing we had that we ate was whale skin. And it's also called muktuk. You get the thickness, the full thickness of skin, and some of the blubber. And I was really, really surprised with this. It was chewy, but it was really good. It was very mild in taste. And it doesn't taste like chicken. A lot of people think that a lot of things taste like chicken. This does not taste like chicken. I can't even begin to tell you what this taste was, but it was really, really good. Greenlanders put soy sauce on it, and I had mine without. This is eaten raw. Whale skin contains omega-3 fatty acids and vitamin D for eating the raw whale blubber, and also vitamin C is in the skin. Cool. So that was our little culinary trip to Kauai.
Wow.
Okay, now it's time for happy bugs. Does anybody have happy bugs? Oh,
Okay, I got
okay, Jim.
to go with it. I can't say this.
This is a very quaint, it's a town that I almost think it's like a settlement. And all of the buildings, they go up the hill and they're all different colors. They're bright blues and reds and yellows and oranges and tans, and it's so cute.
There's 90,000 people in all of Greenland.
And Greenland has the largest ice cap of any country out there, okay? So, anything else?
We have happy bugs for the Grants Pass Art Museum because we go for concerts and all kinds of stuff there. They have all kinds of good stuff.
Okay, anybody else?
This is also for the museum. You guys want to pay for a compliment, and it just mentioned something. In addition to bringing in the musicians, she asked people to host them, so they don't have to spend money on a hotel that evening. And we've done it a couple times, we've gotten to know some of these people. First of all, they're probably the greatest musicians you've never ever heard in your life. And secondly, what I've learned, they work so hard, you cannot believe their schedules. They travel all over the country just to make money because they're not making it off of Pandora and Spotify. And they sell CDs, and my daughter says, who owns a CD anymore? We do. I just think it's a wonderful thing to bring them in for us to hear, and then the way you also support their work.
So we love that you support that. Yeah.
Yes, I have bucks for the Grants Pass Museum of Art also. Again, thank you. That was fascinating to me. And I love that you bring so many children into the mix. You imagine that they was real, you know, the pencil sharpener, it's wonderful. Okay, back to you. Happy bucks back in the white table. I knew it.
You know, Debbie, on and on. Thanks, Luke. I have happy bucks also for the Grants Pass Museum and for Hyla. I have been working with Hyla for 30 years now on so many different things. With Asante, she was just one of those visions of creativity as we were trying to do fundraising around the world of wine. She started that barrel art sales, and oh, that was just, it was beautiful. She worked with me on work with Baldridge, and that's one of my other happy bucks is I'm working with Baldridge again. There's an event happening in September up at Microsoft headquarters. It's amazing. Our region is doing some pretty fabulous things in terms of performance improvement. So anyway, how you've touched so many parts of my life. And then lastly, I just came back from Bend. I was on nanny duty these last few days because Ryan is down at Burning Man. And so I was up with the boys, and the boys have informed me that Taos is 60, when he gets his license, I don't know, I'm probably gonna be out of work up there. So far, I don't have to be a nanny anymore, I just have to be a chauffeur, so.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, it looks like it's time for the cards.
Where are the cards?
Okay, come on. Yeah. While we're working on that, I want to tell you a story. The last time I went to Black, White, and the Blues, I happened to go with a childhood friend who had moved back to the area, married a guy, but his wife didn't have any interest. And we got to Black, White, and the Blues. So you want to announce it? What we got? 4 cards. 4 cards. Oh, can you believe that Anyway, back to my story. So we went to Black, White, and the Blues together, and I think it's a funny story. So I'll see if you do. He was bragging about how much money he had made. You guys, could we? Hello? Valerie? Could we wait until after? We're just all over. Anyway, we get the number and you bid on stuff. And my friend had been bragging all, in my view about how much money he made. So at one point, probably a couple glasses of wine into it, I took his number and I went and I bid on every single silent auction item. Now, I was willing to pay whatever the damage was going to be in case it made him mad. He thought it was hysterical. And so that was a really good night for you guys. Partially, how that works. So I hope you bring it back. It's very, very fun event. Okay, here's to end the meeting. I was proverb for you. May your home always be too small to hold all your friends. See you tonight.